Hey, welcome to the Maybe You're Like Me podcast with me, Mike Burns. Listen, I know we're all more alike than we care to think. We've all got dreams, we've all got hopes, but sometimes we can feel a little alone trying to navigate in this crazy world we live in. So, this podcast is all about you, and it's all about me and how maybe we're a little more alike than we care to think. Welcome to Maybe You're Like Me. On today's episode, we are talking to Kirstin Czernek. Kirstin is an amazing wife and mom, and she advocates for things like adoption and reunification of families and people with Down syndrome. You're going to love this conversation with our friend, Kirstin. Kirstin, welcome to Maybe You're Like Me. This
Thanks.
is so great. Happy you're here. How are you doing, friend?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here. It's a full circle moment, I feel like, because it's been some time, but I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so we were talking a little bit before, but we've been kind of fringe friends for a while. I met you genuinely like 18, 19 years ago.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me.
Wild.
And while we haven't been like the closest of friends, you keep denying all my requests to hang out. It hurts my feelings a little bit.
That is not true.
No, but
for the record.
But we know each other in passing,
Yes.
and you're a very friendly and kind person. And so
Thanks.
it was fun getting to reach out to you because, again, like we've got a little bit of history, you and I. We were talking about our friend that we had on the podcast just the other week, Stephanie Garrison. We met at her apartment a million years ago.
Stephanie and I go back like literally 25 years.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, we met when I was probably 14.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It's crazy. So 20 years ago. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I know.
And it's cool that all these years later, you guys are still friends, still friendly.
I love it.
And
yeah.
she's just good people. You did good picking her as a friend.
She's the reason I'm in Lakeland.
Give us the story. Give us the scoop.
So she was at Southeastern and she was kind of the only one of our friends who had like left to go away for school. So when I was graduating, I was like, all right, I'm just going to follow suit, do what Stephanie did. I want to leave. I want to go where she is. So that's how I met you as I was visiting the school. I think it was like a preview days or something like that. So yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. I remember we were hanging out with a mutual friend at Stephanie's apartment, and you and your sister were there, and you guys were just having like girl fun. And I think I may have been the only guy there. I think I was there.
I think that's true.
Stephanie probably made dinner, but you guys were just like dancing. I was like, what? Who are these people?
We're wild. We're crazy.
Especially it was friend time. So
it was friend time. we were having a good time.
Oh man, it was great though. So so we've got a little bit of history, but for people who may not have bumped into you yet or don't know you, give us who are you?
Yeah. So I am a wife. I'm married to Thomas, and then I have 3 kids. My oldest is Mia. She just turned 7 like a week ago.
Oh man.
Then I have Kai, who's 5, and Aria, who's 3.
That's fun.
Just kind of exited toddler town slightly. And so now we're in little kid land, and it's like a whole new vibe and territory, but it's so much fun. So those are my main roles. I also, for my job, I do social media influencing on Instagram.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's kind of a crazy job, but.
So is there like an application process for that?
No. It honestly would be nice if there was, if it was more like streamlined.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it's just about a year ago. So I owned a business. I owned the Balance Culture, which is a women's fitness studio. I sold the business probably about a year and a half ago now. And then shortly later, Reels kind of blew up on Instagram.
Okay.
They were trying to be like TikTok and take that audience like they do. And so I love video. I always have. I love the emotion that you can send through video.
Yeah.
And so I just started making some reels with my kids. We took the summer, we were just traveling a bunch, and my Instagram kind of blew up overnight. And so it's been like this crazy journey over the last year. It's been about a year, but it's been a lot of fun. And with that came opportunities to collaborate with brands and meet a lot of amazing people. So it's the most bizarre job ever, because it's hard to like even explain to people that this is like a real thing, but it is, and I love it. So it's going really well.
That's super cool. Yeah. I from the beginning of the internet, not the internet, but from the beginning of like social media, and honestly, when Vine came out, that was the first time I was like, maybe I want to try this. Yeah. But then I would never have any ideas. And so I just never went anywhere.
It's like, it's a interesting creative process for sure.
For sure. Content creators and people that are making things on the internet, it sounds like it's just like, oh yeah, I'm going to post a picture on the internet, but there's a lot that goes into it, and we'll dig into a little bit of that in a second. But all right. And then, so on this show, we're trying to get past the filters. We're trying to get past the filtered version of your life.
Yeah.
And so if we're going to get past it, we've got to start with it. And so we want to see if maybe we're alike. So what is like the Instagram version of you? Like if people are just following you online, like who is the Kirstin they know?
So there is an Instagram version of me because it is my job. So I feel like that's pretty easy. So a big part of what I do is advocating. So I love posting beautiful videos and the content creation process, but what I'm really trying to do is advocate. And for me, what's personal to me is advocating for foster care, adoption, and Down syndrome. So I know we were kind of get into this, but my older two, Mia and Kai, we adopted from foster care when Mia was 18 months and Kai was a newborn. And so foster care in general has just been a passion of mine. My eyes have been opened a lot to foster care, to reunification, and that whole process since having my kids. I thought, honestly, I would, we'd be matched with them, we'd adopt them, and that my heart would be even more towards adoption. But actually the opposite has happened. I've seen and realized the beauty of reunification and the redemptive process that comes in that. And so obviously there's certain circumstances that that's not the case. That's why I have my kids today. But my heart is really open towards biological parents and their roles in their children's lives. And it's been really cool how God has softened my heart in that way. So there's that side. So people come to my page and they're wanting to learn about adoption, but I'm really for bio parents and reunification, which I think is a little bit backwards from what people are anticipating. And then Down syndrome. So my youngest daughter, Aria, she has Down syndrome.
Okay.
And since having her, my eyes have been open to the whole world of people who are differently abled and the special needs community. And it has just been such a beautiful process being invited into those communities, learning and just learning from people who are different from me. And so being able to advocate for her needs, what's best for her, learn more, be educated more has really been like another sweet blessing that's come out of it. So that's kind of my angles on social media. So that is mostly what you're going to see. It is more filtered in the sense of I'm not necessarily going on there and sharing these are the difficult things that I have going on in my life right now. I don't use it for that tool. That's not really, first of all, that's not really me. Second of all, I am not one that's going to just process online. Like I'm going to go to people, mentors. I have a therapist. I have, my husband. I have my friends. Like that's going to be my space and my place that I do that. I will, however, return and share like, hey, this is what I went through. This is how I got through it. And be more vulnerable and open on that end. But it's not necessarily my process, like in the mud. This is where I'm at. This is what I'm going through. And so I've had to create those boundaries because social media is a lot. When you have a lot of followers, they want to know a lot. And I love that. I respect that. I understand that. But I've just created these strong boundaries with it that I'm really, stressed on maintaining. And so I feel like it's the healthiest way for me.
Yeah. I think I've never enjoyed the people that like, they've just always got like their doom and gloom story. Just out there. I was like, I just wanted to see a picture of your dog. I'm sorry.
Totally. I was looking for that meme and it just.
I think it's cool that like you are a person and you have like peaks and valleys. But and it's not always the peaks that you're posting. I've seen you post things about like your kids having a bad day, your kids having a good day.
Totally.
And everything in the middle. But you don't have to share everything with everyone all the time.
Yeah,
and so,
totally.
Yeah, we can get into that a little bit more later.
Sure.
So on the podcast, we do things in a couple of rounds. The first round, I call it the first date round. Okay. Because when you go on a first date with somebody, it's been a minute for you.
Yeah, it really has.
We were actually talking about it. I just want to mention this real quick. One of my favorite things in your life is how your husband proposed to you. And that was, how long ago was that? How long have you been married?
So we have been married 13 years. So that was 15 years ago.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So I think he like had recently got his pilot's license.
No, but that's cool.
Wait, is that not how he proposed?
He did, but he wasn't the pilot.
I thought he was the pilot. Oh,
no,
boo, that's less fun.
That would have been a cool story.
Yeah, okay, well, forget it. My version of it's cooler. Let me tell the story and then you just nod along, okay? But so he on which bridge was it?
It was on a bridge on your way to Key West, but it was like a broken down bridge. So like people weren't driving on it. It like runs alongside the highway. But
yeah, in like huge white letters, he had painted on the bridge, "Will you marry me?" like on the road.
Yeah.
So that as like you're from like a bird's eye view, you could see "Will you marry me?"
Yes.
And that's the coolest proposal.
It was really cool. He's very creative. Yeah.
So guys, if you're listening,
he wasn't a pilot.
I think he was. And,
he was. He totally was. And it was beautiful.
It was you guys were in a fighter jet and the whole, So the details are blurry on this. No one knows for sure. Yeah. But old pilot Thomas was up there. And, but that was such like a cool, like that he was a kid at that point. That kid loved you.
I know. So. He was 18.
Yeah.
Yeah. He really is so sweet. He's still like that to this day. He really is.
Yeah. He's always been like a big dreamer, big thinker. And
100%.
So I just like, it was cool that he like went that extra mile to make your guys' proposal fantastic. Yeah. So back to first dates though.
Yeah.
So on your first date, you're wanting to ask questions, you're wanting to get to know a person, but it's not great to ask the wrong questions. There's like, do you like dogs or cats? Do you like dogs or cats?
Dogs. I'm allergic to cats.
Yeah, me too. I'm also allergic to dogs. But
I'm mildly allergic to dogs.
Yeah. So we went to our friend's house the other night and I just had like a sneezing fit for like 15 minutes.
Yeah,
it always sucks. Oh, wait, you guys have a dog.
Yeah, it's always awkward. Like, I'm sorry, but I gotta leave.
Yeah. Then I start itching everywhere and nobody likes it when you're just like itching yourself.
Totally.
But so that's not going to help further a relationship.
Right.
And so the first date round these are kind of get to know you questions. They're not the most intense.
Okay.
Like if you want to cry on the podcast, you can do it later. This isn't the round for that unless like this really hits your heart.
I'm ready.
All right. So if you could be a character on any TV sitcom or TV comedy, what show would you want to be on and what would your character be?
100% Friends.
Friends? Okay.
Friends. Oh yeah. I still watch Friends like literally every day almost. And I would say Monica because I can relate to her the most.
Okay.
She's type A. I'm type A. Like, she's my homegirl. So Monica Friends, 100%.
Would you ever want to be a chef? Is that, you want to follow that or date Tom Selleck? I'm just trying to put the pieces together here.
No, not specifically. I mean, maybe the creative process of being a chef would be cool. I don't know, but I also don't like to cook.
And do you feel, I'm just putting pieces together here. Is Thomas your Chandler? Is that
100%?
Oh,
yeah. Because he's jokester, fun, funny, light. Like, yeah.
Could he be any cooler?
Could he be?
Yeah, that's fantastic. You can't not like Friends. It was such a good show.
The best. I just can't believe how old it is now. And the reunion was like so sweet. I cried. Yeah. I cried. It was good.
It was real good.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with Friends. That's a good choice. I'm trying to think of what I would be in. And my dream goal would be the Power Rangers.
Oh,
or at least like 6-year-old Mike.
I haven't thought about the Power Rangers in a long time.
6-year-old Mike would pick Power Rangers.
Yeah. Which one?
Oh, absolutely. The green one.
The green one. Okay. I liked the pink one.
Yeah. That was my first crush. And me and like every other mid-30s guy.
Yeah.
But that and Topanga.
Oh, yeah.
So you can't go wrong with either of those.
Yeah.
Kelly Kapowski.
Yes.
I could play this game for a long time and I'm not going to. And because of that, I'm going to go ahead and let's just choose Zach Morris while we're on that.
Oh,
that would be a blast.
Oh, yeah. That's a great one.
So always just trying to make things happen. So.
Yes.
All right. So this is another question here. What is your biggest pet peeve?
Okay. So is this like a light answer, right?
Light answer.
Okay. So my biggest pet peeve would be when people put their luggage on their bed. Like when you get to a hotel, you set your luggage on your bed and open it. Like I just think that's gross because your luggage has been literally everywhere. And I'm not like a germaphobe by any means, but like it's been everywhere, like traveling around the airport, like it's gross. And then people go to like unpack and they set it on the bed and then they sleep in the bed.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Have you thought about that? Do you set it on the bed? You can be honest.
I don't know. There's usually one of those little like accordion foldy out things.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's where I try to set mine or just out of the way.
Yeah.
I'm a floor person if there's not like a dedicated spot for it.
Okay. I respect that. But yeah, it's gross.
It
and
makes
I travel
sense
with people all the time and I'm like, why?
Yeah. On that same vein, like I have a couple little boys and like they'll just put their shoes like on anything. So it's like their shoes that they've been on the playground in all day are on the kitchen table or on the kitchen counter. And I'm like, no.
Yeah. Same vibe, same
gross.
energy of just traveled everywhere. And now it's like touching things that we use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's super gross. Yeah. And I feel you on that. You win.
Okay.
Yeah. The one for me right now is, and it's just whatever is, I don't understand it when people don't flush the toilet after they've used it. And it's just like,
that's gross. I wouldn't even think of that because it's disgusting.
But it just happens I feel like it's happened more and more recently. And
really, like in public places?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. This must be like a men's restroom thing.
Potentially.
We don't experience this much.
Listen,
I'm like, it didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah.
I just think it's just like men being gross.
Well, that, and I've got 2 little boys. So
between the two.
It's a common occurrence
for you.
Yeah. So I'm happy for you that it's not in your life. But for me, it's just like you don't want to walk into that. So
no.
And so it's a training process over the Burns household, but I'm going to
I'll be lifting you up on that one.
Thank you. Yeah. If you want to keep me in your thoughts and prayers, that'd be great. All right. So what for you is your ultimate comfort food?
Palace Pizza.
Okay.
They have a gluten-free pizza.
Okay.
Gluten-free. And it's this white pizza with spinach and it's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
All right. For anyone listening who is not a Lakeland local, there is a pizza place that's been there, I'm pretty sure since the founding of Lakeland in the 1700s. But it is genuinely just the best pizza in Lakeland.
Ever.
And like, do you get in fights with people about what the best pizza in Lakeland is?
Not regularly.
I feel like I do. People they'll have they're like, oh, but I really like Hungry Howie's.
Oh,
and I want to slap that person.
No,
that doesn't count.
That's not pizza.
Also, real quick, we'd like to take a quick shout out for our sponsors, Hungry Howie's. Thank you for supporting this podcast.
We love you.
In spite of
best pizza in town.
Best pizza ever. No, but I've got friends and they're like, yeah, you gotta check out, and it's like, no, it's Palace. Like
Little
everyone
Caesars
knows
or something. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's hot and ready. What more? No.
Why do you have to say it's hot and ready? It's if you have to say it.
It's not. So, but yeah, good choice on Palace.
Thank you.
Yeah, everyone agrees with that.
Cool.
I think my ultimate comfort food is probably something my mom makes.
Oh yeah.
So that's my mom makes really great Southern food. And
okay.
Every now and again, that's it's like a twice a year thing. So when it happens, it's
really good.
Magic. Yeah. So, and I'm just I think if we're just going to narrow it down though, really good mashed potatoes every now and again.
That's good.
You can't go wrong with some
good Thanksgiving coming up.
Oh man. Let me tell you what.
You're ready.
I can get down on some mashed potatoes. All right. All right. So that was the first date round. First date. How did you feel after that first date?
Feel good. Feel like I understand your toilet things and your mashed potato.
You know what? I'm gonna take that into consideration. I should probably not bring up the toilet.
Don't edit
so much on. Absolutely not. That's staying in forever. And I feel like, you know what? I'm gonna take it back. I would mention that again because you know that I flush the toilet. So.
It's something you're passionate about.
Yeah, it's that level of hygiene is where I'm at. So you know that I'm a clean person.
I like it.
For the most part, at least. And
I'm hoping to keep circling back to this throughout the podcast.
I'm not sure if I want it to.
Please provide me with opportunities to do so.
All right. So that was the first date round. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You made it through. And so this next round is a round I like to call the slow round.
Okay.
These are more heart, a little bit less Monica. Yeah. Bathroom talk. Unless it goes there naturally, then we'll see what happens.
I'll fit it in.
Yeah. All right. So earlier you talked about how you adopted. And I think that's interesting in your story is you guys chose to adopt first.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like the traditional route would be we're going to have a couple kids and then we'll adopt. But I think it's so beautiful that you guys chose adoption.
Oh, thank you.
And so why did you guys choose adoption? What like led your heart that way?
Yeah.
And tell us about adoption.
So Thomas and I had always said we were going to adopt. Like even when we were dating, that was like an active conversation that we had. But similar to what you said, we thought the more traditional route, have a couple of biological kids first, maybe end with adoption in terms of like completing our family. And we waited actually a long time to start our family. We both launched businesses. And so we had been married almost 10 years by the time we decided to start that chapter.
Oh, wow.
And so we started praying about it, and we had become passionate about adopting from foster care because Thomas had worked at Florida Baptist Children's Home.
Yeah.
He had done an internship there, and he worked specifically at one point in the emergency shelter. So that's right away when kids are being removed, where they're placed, when they're trying to figure out placement while in that interim period. So he was familiar with that, saw the need. And so when we started praying about starting a family, it was actually during a church service one day. Like, I just felt like God like downloaded that in me. Like, what if you started your family with adoption?
Oh, wow.
And so I wrote Thomas like a note on like a tithing envelope. Like what you do when you're 13. And I was like, what if we started with adoption for starting our family? And he like wrote like a big yes and sent it back to me. And so after church, we were like talking about it, and we just both had so much peace about it.
Yeah.
And so then I started my research, and like, okay, I didn't literally know anything about it. I just felt like this is something that God was speaking to us, and I wanted to start researching and finding out how to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just hit Google, and it was a little bit overwhelming and intimidating because there was so much information out there.
Yeah.
And a lot of, honestly, like horror stories, to be honest, like a lot of blog posts and things like that, to where like, I remember just sitting there with my computer being like, okay, God, are you sure this is what we're supposed to do? Because we were young, and like I said, we had no experience parenting, and now we're jumping into potentially like trauma-informed parenting and all the logistics that come with that. And so I just had peace about it. So I called around and found out that we could go through Heartland, which is a local state agency. Mm-hmm. And they have the option there where you can do the straight adoption route versus fostering. We don't really have a foster to adopt program here in Lakeland. You either foster or you adopt.
Okay.
And so I signed up for their orientation. And then Thomas and I went, it was like 2 weeks later, went to the orientation and filled out a ton of paperwork, gave it back to them to see if we would be accepted into the class.
Yeah.
We knew we wanted younger because we were young. And so that was the only reason why we thought, okay, maybe we wouldn't get selected, is we were wanting under 3 years old. And so at the time, they decided to consider us because we both had a background. My background is in mental health counseling at my master's, and then Thomas is in social work. And because of our level of background, they were like, okay, even though you're wanting younger and you might need to wait a really long time, we're willing to work with you on that. So I actually got the call on my birthday that we were accepted into the class. And so we started the adoption classes, which I believe were like, it's hard to remember now, maybe 3 or 4 months long.
Okay.
A couple of nights a week, I think. And then we did our home study, which is like, most people assume it's like they come and check like outlets and like dangerous like things that could be in your home, but it's actually an interview process. So we had somebody come out and interview Thomas and I for literally like 8 hours.
Oh, wow.
Just going over all the paperwork and things that we had filled out. We did like psychological evaluations. We had like different tests and things to take. But before we knew it, we were done with the process. And about maybe a week and a half later, so our home study wasn't even like signed off on yet. We got a call about a little girl. There was not a lot of information, but that she was around 18 months, was going to be available for adoption. Wanted to know if we would be open to considering and you interview for the child. So it's like you have to have 3 couples or 3 people wanting that child. And it's literally like The Bachelor for the child. It's like crazy. So anyway, we said, yes, we want to move forward. And about a week later, we got an email that our daughter now was her mom was going to be having a baby. And so if we wanted to move forward in the process with her, we had to be open to also taking the baby. And so my husband was like an instant yes. And I was like, I need some time to pray because it never crossed my mind newborn. It just doesn't really happen at all in these circumstances and situations. And so it wasn't even in my wheelhouse of like thought.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, 2 kids under 2 when we were thinking 1 child, maybe around 2 years old. And so anyway, I prayed about it, thought about it, had a lot of peace. And then we both decided to email back. Yes, we want to move forward. So the short of it is we got matched with our daughter, Mia. She literally moved in. We did the interview. We signed a bunch of paperwork. And then probably within a week, she moved in like permanently. And they moved the process along a lot faster. Typically, you do like meetups at the park. You get to know the child. They get to know you. But because her brother was going to be born, they agreed, wanted to work on attachment and bonding and having that one-on-one time with her before he was here. So she moved in and it was the best ever.
Oh,
She was like the sweetest, like very timid, very shy, reserved, but open. And so we got to meet her and bond and build attachment with her. And then Kai was born literally 3 weeks later.
Oh, wow.
And so he ended up moving in about a month after that. And then both of their adoptions were finalized within the year. So it was like a very fast process, but like the best. I'm so grateful for how it unfolded.
Yeah. So I have a friend that I made in college that she was adopted.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it. And like in my brain, my family planning in my college brain was I'll just have 3 kids and that'll be it.
Yeah.
And she was talking and she said, I want to adopt. And I was like, why would you want to do that? Like you could have your own kids and all this stuff.
Right.
And because she was adopted, she told me adoption is the greatest love that you can show. She's like, my parents or my dad chose me.
Yeah.
And like of anything else.
Yeah.
And like the thought that you chose love for those little people and a person that wasn't even in the world yet.
Yeah.
But I love that that's the choice and the way that you guys even started your family.
Thanks.
And continue to do that. And just choosing love and choosing them. That's so beautiful. And
Thanks.
I'm proud of you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. It's definitely been, I've learned so much about God's love through the process and the power of just unconditionally loving someone, in our case, 2 little people, like you said, and watching how much their little hearts are transformed. And like, it's really, it's been amazing for me to witness it unfold. And I know I'm a part of it, but just watching them grow and really evolve over time into these amazing humans, like truly, like they're my favorite people in the world. All of my kids.
That and like on just a parent level, I have 2 kids that are 2 years apart, but I can't imagine like the amount of, and being a parent is the best thing in the world, but it's also like crazy stressful and super hard. And super so hard. Like going from like 0 to 2 and like with an age gap too. And just figuring out all those things. And honestly, even the adoption process is not an easy process. Yeah, it's not. Yeah. Thanks for acknowledging that. The adoption process was by far the hardest part of it because, you get these like 2 sweet, in our case, babies. And I'm like, I just want to love them and spend time with them. But there was this whole other component of court dates and calls and paperwork that just comes with the territory. So there's a lot of grace for that. I knew what I was getting into, but I also had that longing of like, I just want to be their mom right now. Yeah. And so by the time both of their adoptions were finalized, which Mia's is November 15th. So in a couple of weeks, we'll be celebrating that. Yeah. And Kai was about 9 months after he was born. So yeah, once Kai's was finalized, then both were, like, it was just amazing to just be their mom. And so I feel like I have a lot more gratitude for that. Like I love just being with them. Yeah. And because I wasn't for a period of time, I can appreciate it so much more. So there's a lot of beauty in that as well. Yeah. People have asked me before, like if you could have like a magic wand and like do a thing There's a bunch of things that you would like magic wand, like end world hunger and stuff.
Yeah.
But and like, there's no way to do this, but I wish that I could magic wand the adoption process to be easier, but for the right people.
Yeah.
Like, because there's people like you that are out there just like, you love these kids.
Totally.
And the adoption and make the foster system like a beautiful thing.
Totally.
And I'm working on finding that magic wand.
Yeah. Yeah. Please do. And
well, the thing that's good too is there's people like you out there that are advocating and trying to make the system better and better for people heading into the process. So
yeah, I definitely think at its root, keeping families together, that's something that I've learned throughout the process. I went and I met with somebody. So I got both my kids and I was very passionate about adoption. I was like, let's move these kids through the foster system faster. Like, why do they have to sit and wait? And I just had a very surface understanding of everything. Yeah. And I met with one of the caseworkers that was a part of our adoption classes. And she was like, well, if we're wishing for anything, let's start at the root of the problem. Let's keep families together. Yeah. And she said that. And I burst into tears. Like, it broke me because I realized my like humanness in that moment of like how backwards my thinking was. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, you're absolutely right. Like, we have to start at the root. Yeah. Keep these families together. Support specifically from me at moms. Like, that's my heart. But support moms, advocate for moms, and equip them so that they can learn how to healthily parent their kids. And you know, we were just talking like how hard it is to be a parent. Yeah. How hard it is to be a parent is like insane. And then you add mental health issues and no support system. Yeah. And family, or, you know, moms specifically who come from families that are broken, that they were never taught these things. Like, think of how privileged we are, how much we were taught through our parents. And so to be able to have that understanding, like, the empathy grows. And like, that's where I've just like really switched my heart and my perspective on it. But yes, once the kids are in the system, and they're getting ready to be adopted, let's move that right along. Let's not drag that process out. Yeah.
Man. Yeah. I feel like we could talk about this forever and ever and ever. And, but I really enjoy that there's people out there like you that like, adoption isn't something I think about every day. And, or like family reunification, but we've all got our part to play. Yeah, 100%. And so where I'm trying to bring people together on, hey, let's be nice to each other. Yeah. Like, maybe we're alike. That's kind of where my brain's at right now. Totally. Your head and your heart is in family reunification and adoption. Yeah. And helping people who are differently abled. And that's fantastic. And thanks. So I'm grateful for people like you.
Yeah. And same, I'm grateful for people like you. It's cool that everybody gets to play their part. I realize that more and more as like my years go on, how cool that is.
We talked about this a little bit earlier, but you've gained an internet following, and there's people that are peeking into your life. Yeah. And first off, I like, just on my side, you have a beautiful family, handsome husband, beautiful kids. Like, are you guys human?
We are.
Okay, good. I just needed to know. But
we are.
Because of that, like, you're putting your life on the internet, at least to some level. Yeah. So this is a new thing, honestly, within the last 20 years. Yeah. Of people that are able to, before it was, you had 3 or 4 TV networks that people could share stories on and where you get your news from. Yeah. But now, like, the world is endless. You can dig into the minutia of somebody you've never met's life. And even though, like we were talking before, I know who you are. Like, if we saw each other out in public, we could say hi and how are the kids and that kind of stuff. But I could, if I want to, like, look very deeply into your life. Yeah. And so that's just all brand new. And so for you, you're an influencer. That's the phrase that gets thrown out with that. Yeah. What does influence mean to you?
So influence to me is honestly however you want to show up and impact the world. Yeah. I don't think it has to be on social media, although you can reach a lot of people on social media, like you're saying. I think it could be in a million different spheres. I mean, I think just by you sitting here with me, you having this podcast that's influential, you're an influencer. Like,
Aw.
I think it's so broad in that scope. I think we all have our own lanes to run in within it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, influencing to me is just any way that you can like positive. I mean, you can influence in a negative way, but for me, I would want people to positively influence and impact the world in a really beautiful way. And I think that can look like a million different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the opportunity. I get DMs all the time. And one of them was a woman in Afghanistan who is pregnant and got a Down syndrome diagnosis for her baby. And it's just really cool being able to talk with her on the other side of the world and share my experiences. And I can tell you that happens probably once a week, having those conversations, Google translating back and forth. Like, it's just beautiful to me how I'm able to connect with people in that way.
Yeah.
And so, to be honest, like, there is the advocating portion that I love in what I do, but also it's, my stuff gets pushed out, and people can view it all around the world. And because of that, I'm able to connect with people all around the world and have these conversations. And so I invest in that. I take a lot of time in doing that. That's a huge part of what I do. And so, just being able to impact and be a part of that woman's life. Like, if that was it, that's enough for me. Like, I can put my head on the pillow tonight and be like, that amazing God that you were able to do that. So I'm grateful.
I think that's cool that in a world that is so huge, because of technology, the world can be a little smaller.
Yeah.
And it seems like you're using the gift that you've been given to impact people in a good way.
Yeah.
Like, there's some people that I feel like would take those DMs and they would view them as a burden. And it's like, come on, just leave me alone. I got diapers to change. I got things to do. I got dinner to cook. But it seems like you are able to help people, not just in your community, but around the world too. So it seems like you're using your powers for good. So
thanks. Well, I feel humbled that I get the opportunity. Truly.
That's cool.
It's really cool to be able to, like, literally just be on my phone and communicating with somebody in that way and play a part in helping them process and understand what their future is going to look like.
Yeah.
I know specifically, and this is getting really deep, but like having conversations with some women where I know Aria has literally saved lives, like, is insane to me.
Yeah.
And I know that because of the conversations that I'm having and posting her and her, with Mia and Kai and doing life with us and people being able to experience a little bit of what their future might look like. It gives them hope and decisions are made based on that. And so that's been really cool.
So this is a big thought I think about all the time. Like, somebody made this table, somebody made that cup, and somebody, like, there's people doing things all around the world all the time that are making an influence, whether big or small. And it's just how you choose to view it. And I don't know if I sit and think like, man, there's people having conversations about adoption or about Down syndrome that are genuinely saving lives.
Yeah.
And
it's
like,
crazy.
Even people that like, you can flippantly view content creators as just people that are looking for likes or, and then there's probably a couple of those out there.
Totally.
And in every good cookie, there's a few nuts.
Right.
And so but there's people out there that are using their influence in their lives for good too. And so I'm grateful that that's how you're choosing to view and use like what's been given to you. And so
thanks. I really appreciate that. So kind.
All right. So this is one last thing. And I have no idea where you're going to take this, and it just makes me happy. But in your life, to this point, what is your greatest accomplishment?
Oh,
because, and I'm gonna qualify
caveat.
this. No, there's no caveat, but like you've done some cool things. Like you've started a gym. You got an amazing family. I'm pretty sure that you could out yoga most of the people in our city. So, but yeah, so like for you, what is your greatest accomplishment?
It has to be being a content mom. So the
wow.
content aspect is really important there. I really think being a mom is like the greatest calling in the world. But being content on top of that is a whole other layer. You know, you just mentioned I started and I sold a business. Like that was a phenomenal experience that I love. And it was easy to be content in that because it was like fueling all of my passions all in one, all the time, all day long.
Yeah.
And so to take a step back from that, sell the business, become a stay-at-home mom, I'm, you know, doing this stuff with influencing on the side, but truly my job, quote unquote, is a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
Like, and finding contentment in that, being in the moment, being present.
Yeah.
There was like an undoing that had to take place to be able to do that. And so I've worked really hard at that. I wouldn't say it's something that came extremely naturally to me, which the funny thing about that is people assume the opposite. So I like to share, no, I've worked at this. Like if this is a struggle of yours, you can too. And so finding contentment, being present, and just enjoying it has really, been the coolest thing that I've been able to experience like thus far, like my greatest accomplishment, my ability to do that.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long it lasts. I don't know. I mean, it could only last, you know, another month. I literally have no idea. But for this season, this is where God has me. And I want to be the best steward of it that I can. Yeah.
I think the thing that's cool in that too is, especially in the space you're in, you are probably surrounded by, or just because of being on the internet, probably as much as you are, there is so much room for comparison.
Yeah.
And so the ability to be able to be content with your family, with your life, with the tools that you've been given, with the life that you've been given is huge because it's so easy to compare. Yeah. And I would imagine even on the opposite side of the internet from you, people compare their lives to you. But the fact that you turn it around and be like, no, I have struggles. I have issues. And my issues have issues and all the stuff in the middle.
Issues have issues.
Yeah. To be content in the life that you have and realize the blessings that you're rocking with is great.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
All right. So this is the last question, the last serious question in the podcast. We ask everybody this question, and it could be as silly as you're learning jujitsu or as serious as you're learning whatever. But what are you learning right now?
Okay. I'm a more serious person, so I will go the serious route.
Go for it.
So I think, I don't know if this was live when we were saying this, but I started therapy like 6 months ago.
Okay.
And it's been life-changing. Like it truly has. Like I feel like I have been able to like process through a lot of different things that I just kind of moved my way quickly through, just hoping that they would just stay in the past. And so through that, I am learning to be more vulnerable, to share and experience more emotions. That's like a big thing for me. And so I would say that's the number one thing I'm learning right now is like how to let myself feel. Yeah. Which is like, sounds silly, but for my personality is very difficult. Like it just is. So we're really honing in on that, putting a lot of energy towards it. And so, more serious answer, but that's where I'm at.
You did good. I can honestly say that that's something I struggle with too. Yeah. Is the like thinking about your feelings.
Yeah. It's hard.
Where my personality type is, I will either bottle it up or just like you said, try to like just rush past it. Totally. And never like really stop and think about like how I'm feeling or whatever I'm feeling. And then it comes to like a breaking point and I lose it in a Denny's. I'm like, and it's like, this is my moon over my hammy. Give it back to me.
Maybe start therapy.
Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? But like the ability to take time to think about what you're thinking about. Yeah. And what you're feeling is huge.
Yeah.
And
it's been cool.
I feel like for the longest time, there's been a stigma around it.
Totally.
But I feel like more recently, it's becoming more commonplace to talk about how you're feeling and what you're feeling. Especially on the guy side. Like guy side's really weird. Like there's just pee in toilets and also bringing it back around.
I'm so proud. It's true.
And that could even be a metaphorical pee in the toilet. So
I love that.
All right. So we're at the final round here. And I'm looking over the list. There's no more toilet talk.
Okay.
Unless we bring it there somehow. I don't know.
We're getting it there.
I feel like I'm the opposite of my kids. Like we'll be in the car and it's like, listen, guys, no more potty jokes. It's
I live
we're
that
going
life.
to school. You can't do potty jokes. So calm it down. But this is the common ground round. This is where I try to see if maybe you and I are alike.
Yeah.
And in this crazy world out there that maybe we're a little bit alike.
Yes.
So, all right. So you got some cards in front of you. You got a marker.
Okay. We're doing things.
All right. So this is a this or that style thing.
Yes. Okay.
So are you ready for this?
Okay.
All right. So with ice cream, are you an ice cream fan?
Yeah.
All right. Would you rather have your ice cream in a dish or a cone?
How?
So write those out. This one is easy for me. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. What you got? Cone and cone. Look at us. Look at us.
Love that.
I'm going to throw this out there. So it might take some pressure off of you.
Okay.
But no one to this point has got them all the same as me, except for my wife. So
okay.
So
Well,
there's no pressure, but
okay.
Apparently I'm a very unique individual. Back to ice cream for a second there. What is your favorite ice cream?
All right. Well, wait, am I writing it?
No. This is just.
I was like, how are we going to match that?
That's not possible.
Okay. I like a toffee nut.
Okay.
Yeah. I like those little toffee pieces.
Okay.
Harder to find, but when I do, it's really good.
There you go. I'm basic. Throw me some strawberry or Oreo ice cream.
Strawberry's good.
Strawberry is my favorite.
I really like strawberry, and I feel like it's underrated.
It really is. People need to get on it.
Yeah.
And
I'm
also
with you there.
On the cone thing, a long time ago, this is 5-10 years ago, I had the idea that it would be amazing if because for me, the ice cream cone is the best part of the ice cream.
Yeah, it's really good.
And I wished they would make an ice cream cone ice cream.
Like little pieces.
Yeah. And until Ben & Jerry's came out with it's the Stephen Colbert flavor, Americone Dream, and it's got cone pieces in it. And I was like, they stole my idea.
That was you.
So I'm in the middle of a legal process.
Okay, well, let me know how that goes.
Also, real quick, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Ben & Jerry, for just kidding. All right. We are in what should be the changing of seasons right now, but we're not because we live in Florida.
I know.
But would you rather it be hot or cold outside?
Oh.
This one is easy for me. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, she put hot.
Wow.
I put cold. What about the hot does it for you?
In this moment, I want cold for sure.
Absolutely.
But being cold for long periods of time, it's chilling.
It's chilling. Quite literally. For me, and I say this probably too much, but I'm allowed to put more clothes on. I'm not allowed to take more clothes off.
Yeah, that's fair.
People start complaining after so many layers. So I enjoy, I like snuggly, cuddly.
I mean, the clothes for cold weather far surpass.
Oh man, I look so cute in a pea coat. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. All right, let's move it along. Speaking of cold weather, we are in, again, we're getting close to cold season. So when it comes to hoodies, are you going zip up or pull over? Whew, this is tough stuff here. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh,
wow.
I put zip up. She put pull over.
Okay, I'm wearing a zip up right now, but it's only because it's hot and I need to be able to take it, obviously. So pull over. Comfy, cute.
For me, I've got one of, or like a couple of both. And so it's an either or for me. It's not like the end of the world either way.
You're not extremely passionate about
I'm not a passionate hoodie wearer. Maybe I should be based on this conversation.
It's a vibe.
Is it a vibe?
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
So yeah, but I do enjoy having both hands in the hoodie pockets. That's
the true vibe right there.
Also, I got a little bit of a belly on me, so it just rests all comfortable. So
love that for you.
No one likes your attitude even slightly right now. All right. Moving on here. You've got a family, and so keep that in mind.
Okay.
When it comes to like time off, are you going vacation, so somewhere else, or staycation? Just get to huddle up with the fam. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. I wrote vacation. She wrote vacation.
Vacation.
Where is your favorite vacation spot?
San Diego, California.
Ooh, that's a good choice.
I love it. It's so good.
We went to California this last summer, not this most recent one, but the one before that, 2021, and visited San Diego for a day.
Did you like it?
I loved it. So
it's
we did the
everybody's
zoo.
so active.
It's great.
It's so fun. It's good.
The beaches there are incredible.
What about you? Where are you vacationing?
I like to mix up. So we live in a tropical climate.
Yeah.
So if I can get somewhere where it's again back to hot and cold, where it's a little bit colder, that's nice for me.
We were just in Colorado a couple months ago. It was really nice.
I bet it was gorgeous.
Beautiful.
And so you're saying active. Do you like to get out and hike and see the things?
I do. I can go either way. I can go like straight up chillax, but having kids, that's not really too much of an option. But I like to just relax, do a lot of nothing, or hikes. Rent some bikes, do all the things that
that sounds fun.
Yeah.
I enjoy the concept of staycation, but I also think I would get stir crazy and just.
No, I know. I feel like we lived that, like COVID.
That's true.
I'm staycationed out. We lived that for 2 years.
All right. This is the last one. Okay. I think we're 2 for 2 right now.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry. We're 2 for 4.
Yeah.
So we are in Thanksgiving season.
Okay.
And so this is a sides question.
Okay.
Are you going green bean casserole or sweet potato casserole?
Oh.
This one is like the toughest for me, whereas hoodies were tough for you.
Spelling potato.
Well, I wonder what your answer is going to be.
Oh yeah.
There's no E at the end of it.
Okay. But it's somewhere.
You know what? I like them equally, so I know what your answer is. I'm just going to go ahead and write whatever your answer was. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, sweet potato, sweet potato.
Oh, you wrote sweet. I should have just done that.
Yep, I like to abbreviate.
I like the efficiency.
What is your dream sweet potato casserole?
Marshmallows on top.
Oh, duh. Do you, are there pecans or nuts?
No, I don't get crazy. Just simple.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Simple. Mashed potatoes on top. Lots of butter.
Mashed potatoes.
Or not mashed potatoes. Marshmallows.
I love that for you.
I had your marshmallows on top with butter.
Okay.
Tons of butter.
Uh-huh.
I feel like butter makes the dish.
Absolutely.
Butter makes everything better.
Yeah.
I could eat butter on a shoe.
Yeah. Let's go back to your suitcases on the beds, germaphobe. Now you're wanting to eat butter out of a shoe.
I would. I love butter.
That's very Paula Deen of you. I love that for you. No, who doesn't like butter?
So good.
I think it was on Parks and Rec. Somebody was talking. It was Andy talking about all these foods, and he's like, I think my favorite food is butter.
No, I take back. My comfort food is butter.
Okay. We'll just interject that in from the early part. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So it's been so much fun getting to talk to you and getting to do this. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Now, there's people out there that maybe this is their first time hearing about you or hearing from you, and they want to get to know your story a little more.
Yeah.
Where's a great place for them to follow along and get to know you a little better?
Yeah. So on Instagram, it's just Kirstin Czernek. And then I do have a website with a blog, but I don't update it very often.
That sounds good.
It has more of our story on it. So that's just KirstinCzernek.com.
All right. So for everyone out here who is not fluent in Russian last names, is that the lineage? Is it Russian?
It's Czech.
Czech. Okay. I was geographically
very
close. How do you spell?
CZERNEK.
Yeah. So every time I've tried to type your name in for things, I'm like, let's just skip her last name for a second.
Honestly, that's what everybody does. And I'm cool with it. I'm like, I know you know who I am.
Yep. So, so you can follow along with her there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been so great. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you.
You are the best. And one more time for everyone out there listening, please flush your toilets.
Yeah, please.
For my sake.
For Mike's. Come on. Perfect. Well, that was great.
We did it.
You feel good?
Feel real bad.
Real bad. Horrible.